नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सभी का एक बार फिर से स्वागत है। मित्रों, हाउ कैन कास्ट फैक्टर स्टैंड इन द वे ऑफ पेंशन अपडेशन? इस राइटअप को NR राव, SBI हैदराबाद के रिटायर्ड डिप्टी GM ने लिखा है और जिसको श्री DS मूर्ति साहब जो पेंशनर एक्टिविस्ट हैं उन्होंने शेयर किया है। मैं आपको उसके बारे में बता रहा हूँ, शेयर कर रहा हूँ। हाउ कैन कास्ट फैक्टर स्टैंड इन द वे ऑफ पेंशन अपडेशन? आफ्टर ए मीटिंग विथ IBA on 23rd September, IBA has stated in its circular dated 29th September 22 that they have asked IBA to work out a roadmap for pension updation and that the case of pre-2002 retirees may be taken up first to begin with. AIBA has also asked IBA to work out additional cost each settlement wise so that a negotiated decision can be taken. We thank the AIBA for supporting at least the pre-2002 retirees right away. However, as for AIBA's stand on the principle of updation of pension for all pensioners, the following facts must be understood by all. Where is the question of working out the cost and negotiated decision for pension updation? Pension updation is an entitlement of pensioner under the existing laws and court judgments. It is not a subject for negotiated decision between IBA and UFBU. Just because there is no specific separate provisions in the pension regulations for updation with every salary revision, both the working staff unions and the IBA have been exploiting bank pensioners. Though not specifically mentioned, there are provisions in the pension regulation for pension updation. Central government employees, RBI employees, etc. have got pension updation in spite of the fact that the pension rules in their cases do not contain a specific clause for updation. Pension updation along with every upward salary revision is a settled law and a matter of social justice and the common sense. For that matter, where is the legal provision that salaries must be revised for working employees from time to time? There are only provisions in the ID Act and Service Rule for the minimum wages and increase in dearness allowance on the basis of increase in cost of living indices from time to time. If this is so, why are salary of working staff revised from time to time? For the same reason and on the same analogy, as salaried or revised, pensions must also be revised and increased with every salary revision from time to time. As it is settled law that pension is an extended wage, this is a common sense only because bank managements and working staff unions want to avoid paying anything to pensioners. They misinterpret the law by twisting and turning the technical jargons against bank pensioners. In the past, bank retirees had forgotten all about pension updation because they were basking in the sunshine of the retirement benefits received by them in one lump sum at the time of retirement, and they treated this as something like a windfall or a lottery prize won in their life. Many retirees spent all this money for their family expenses and for their children's marriage or education, etc., while many others were busy engaged in efforts to safeguard this wealth and investing it in different avenues to earn more money. In the process, the retirees forgot all about their entitlement for periodical revision in pension and kept silence by reconciling to their fate. The bank pensioners have brought today's situation on their heads by their own lack of vigilance and ignorance. The bank management and the working staff unions have taken advantage of this weakness and the failure on the part of retirees and cleverly exploited the bank pensioners. We do not understand how and why the cost factor should come into the play for pension updation at all. The cost factor applies for the revision of salaries, which should also take into account the cost, if any, due to pension updation at the time of every salary revision. Cost factor is not the criteria for pension updation. Pension updation is a pensioner entitlement. It is for bank management to bear this cost, if any, due to shortfall in the earnings from pension fund from the bank's operating profits. Making provision for such shortfall takes precedence over any other provisions to be deducted from the operating profits and before distributing dividends to the government. The pension regulation do provide for making such provisions. If bank did not make such provisions in the past, it is their fault. The pension regulation have the strength of law. The only question that the pension regulation have the strength of law. The only question that remains is that the cost of pension updation has to be amortized over several future years. If the banks cannot absorb the cost in one go, this is not a matter for negotiation between UFBU and IBA. It is the bank's job. It is the duty of banks to implement pension updation. It is the duty of working staff union to graciously extend cooperation to the former colleagues of the working staff and stop exploiting pensioner and continue to talk about negotiated decision. Individual pension activists did huge work during the past 2 years to achieve pension updation. They are all disappointed, frustrated and tired. It is not easy for them to sustain their fight anymore with the same level of tempo. It is now for the pensioner organization to rise up to the occasion and gear themselves up to carry on the fight now to protect bank pensioners' entitlement and interests. The earlier the pensioner organization realizes their responsibility and go out to make stronger efforts to bring pressure on the working staff unions and the IBA to stop the exploitation of pensioner, it is better. If the pensioner organization do not wake up and act, the exploitation of the bank pensioner by the management and the working staff union such as AIBEA will continue. If the pensioner organization do not, the pensioners, it will turn ugly against the office bearers of the pensioners organization. N. Raghavendra Rao, 4th October 22. Please, this is the write-up written by Sri N. Raghavan N.R. Rao, ex-Deputy GM of the SBI Hyderabad. Thank you friends. Namaskar.